supports your jaw to open. good afternoon, good evening, where dead of night, some of you. Um, Welcome to the Race Tickets YouTube channel, Twitch channel, wherever you may be watching. We're now covering round 7, Imola in Italy. And this is Quali for the Grand Prix. This is Crash here. We've got about a few minutes. Let's take a look live. There we go. We got about 3 minutes to go. There were 3 decision documents. Nothing's going to affect position so far, but I'm just going to go over them quickly. Um, Franco Colapino basically was caught spitting in the pit lane. Um, the team has been fined €600. Gabriel Borello allegedly overtook car 14 at yellow flags at turn 4. No decision, no further action. Basically was given a dressing down by the stewards. And then this is an odd one. This is Charles Leclerc failed to follow procedures in the technical guidelines. Um, Basically, Technical Directive 003G, I'm going to read out at point 2G II. Specialized tire may be used more than once in a single session. Also set procedures that may be followed if the team wishes to make adjustments to the tires, such as reducing tire pressures. Requires that first the tire temperatures be obtained, and they didn't follow that procedure. And so the issues ended up finding €5,000 for the team. So that's a very odd. Those are the only decision documents so far. There was a pit lane speeding in FP free practice 2. Quickly look at that. That'd be Carlos Sainz, and yeah, they were found €1,000 for pit lane speeding. So nothing in terms of in comparison to what happened in Miami. This has been relatively minor. And again, goes back into practice 2. So let's hope that the stewards are as chill as they are still as they've been through practice. Got a minute and 20 seconds to go before we get a green light on Q1. Anything in FP3? Yeah, the one major incident that we did have was with Lawson. He spun around, went off track, came back on track, and that's about it. Um, so I'm seeing movement on screen. It looks like that's reflecting the cars coming out of the garage and going to the end of pit lane. So it looks like Hulkenberg and Bortoleto are going to be the first to go out onto track when Q1 starts. The other weird thing that we're getting with is that the C6 compound isn't really holding up as we would expect. Max Verstappen actually got a better lap on the medium tire, which is the C5 compound, than the C6. So it's a question of, do they use the mediums here? But if they use the medium here, that means that they're not going to have them. It's going to compromise the race strategy. So it's one of those really. It's really an issue of I don't know what how they're going to plan this out, what they're going to do. I'm still looking for more information. We're going to see how that's going to go in a few moments. Qualifying has started, so we have green lights, and as expected, the kick cars went out first. Hulkenberg, Borlella. What's say this? Saw Ackerman. People are saying hi to me in Crash. Ayman Shah. I know Dark Shay said hello earlier. I know Paulo says hello. So we've got Ocon, Bamman, Stroll, Sainz, Alonso on track. So we're mid into the session. People are just getting out onto track. So it'll be about another minute for them to get around, and then about a minute and a half for that first flying lap. So Hamilton appears to be the next one to come out on track. Albon will be the next after Hamilton, and then Leclerc. So here we go. So the state guys are on their flying lap. The Haas's are on their first flying lap. They're going to have to deal with traffic. Like, again, Borgaleo's got to go around Leclerc at the moment. Hulkenberg is eventually going to catch up to Albon and have to pass him. If you didn't like and subscribe on YouTube, that is a great time to do. If you hit the bells, you'll get notifications when we go live. That will be for all the sessions. So for the race tomorrow, and then for all of the sessions for Monaco next week. Those of you on Twitch, just by following the channel, you'll get those notifications automatically. Hulkenberg finally gets past Albon by turn 17. He's going to come to the line. He's going to be the first one across the line to set a time. 117.02. Teammate is next. Albon passes Hulkenberg by turn 2. Well, it does a 116.698. Ocon does a 117.080. And they are using the soft compounds. So we could see them use just softs through the whole qualifying session. Max and Tsunoda are basically in the pit lane at the moment. They're about to come out. Clerk is on a flying lap. So Stroll's going P2. Yet to see anyone from the Racing Bulls, Alpine, Mercedes, or McLaren out on track yet. Alonso goes top of the board with 116.238. Hamilton goes now to P2, 258. Sainz is P3. Albon about to finish his lap, and Leclerc about to finish his. Albon's at the top of the board, 116.164. And we're going to see Leclerc come around. He just passed turn 15. Passing Bordello at turn 16. Mercedes are on track. Isaac is coming out, and the McLarens are coming out. Leclerc is going to go P5 with 116.524. So right now we got Max and Russell and Tsunoda on out on their outlap still. Max is about to finish that outlap, and then we're going to see Isaac's not on just at pitted. Is now back out. Max on his flying lap. And Tsunoda now on a flying lap. Aston Martin is pitting both of their cars. And that's to be expected for that first run out. Let's see. So right now we're looking with Max on F1 TV is following along with Max. Hamilton and Sainz are boxing. And that's to be expected at this point. Red flag. Oh! It's Tsunoda. Tsunoda is gone into the wall at turn 6. Oh. Oh my god. Oh, so yeah, so notice it looks like there's been multiple points of contact. The front wheel tires have collapsed. The back left sorry, the rear right side of the car has completely collapsed, including the uh the wing. I'm not sure it's a total car loss. We're definitely looking at the back wing. We're looking at the front wing. We're looking. There's probably an issue of suspension that they're gonna have to probably have to deal with. No, not on the straight. He did go. It's technically he's at turn six, so that's the Vilnius chicane as they've been calling it on F1 TV. So that's between five and six. So oh, did he? Oh my God. He went upside down and went up onto the tire barrier. Oh, oh my. Yuki's good. He's getting out of the car, but my God, that was a hard crash. He went up onto the tire barrier. So Yuki lost control, turned. He went backwards into the tire barrier. His car went up over the car barrier and got stopped by the catch fence and bounced backwards onto his wheels. Yeah, this could have ended much badly. I mean, like this is wow. He's going to be taken to medical. That's a um. He did get out of the car under his own ability and his he got out of the car himself. Uh, the audio quality is horrid, usually understandable. I have a fan running overhead because it's I'm in Texas and it's freaking 100 degrees. So if you that will go, hopefully that will stop in a moment. How did he crash? He lost the rear. He went around backwards into was it the tire barriers? I hope they get to the car because it's steaming. It's not on fire, but it's steaming. We've got three. They found three Red Bull fans in Red Bull shirts, and can't believe what they're seeing with Yuki. Yeah, Yuki's gonna be most. I wouldn't be suspect. I would suspect that Yuki would be a pit lane start tomorrow. Um, so here's the thing in play is that Yuki did set a representative time during practice, so that will be taken as being able to drive in the Grand Prix essentially. Flipped before the barriers, flipped up onto the barriers, bounced off the catch fence, and then came back down. So that was, yeah, your red flag with Grash. This is, that was quite the crash there. Yeah, the barrier by the wall, um, basically are tire barriers. I'm used to seeing a lot of the Tech Pro barriers, but they're just here. They're just using tires as a means to basically absorb the power of the collision. The thing is that he basically something got as he turned backwards, he dug into the ground, flipped up literally rolled up onto the tire barriers himself. Okay. Ooh. So one of the things in play here is that Yuki's taking a wider. He's on the soft compound, the C6. He's going wider than other drivers, and he's going over curves, and that's one of the things he goes over a curve and loses control of the car, and that's where the spin begins. And then he gets to the tire barrier, and it basically the car rolls. Um, it's like a can of, can rolling over basically at that moment. They are still pulling the car off the track at this moment. They're getting it beyond. They've got it on the crane. It's being pulled backwards behind the wall. They're just taking a slow time to do so. Time did stop at 12:13. So in quality, time does stop. Now, if there's like less than 2 minutes, there's then they will ultimately um, they will if there's less like 2 minutes in the session, they have the option to basically end the session at that point because there's not enough time to get people back out on track and then get around and then do start a flying lap. Now, as it is stand right now, we're at 12 minutes. Now that's plenty of time for people to get back out on track, do a lap, come in. All right. So again, those who have just arrived right now, we are in still in Q1. We are in a red flag session because Yuki Tsunoda had basically lost control of his car going over curves, went crashed, and actually flipped the car into the catch fence and came back down. We've got 12:13 left on the clock as we're still waiting for them to again the car is about is off the track at this point. It's on the crane. Yuki is okay. He will be taken to medical. Given the nature of the crash and how he crashed, they have to. Ooh, he hit one of the. I think he hit one of the sense the. So you know the Marshall signs that are the LCD Marshall signs that showing. I think he hit one of those. So they're showing another replay of Yuki. Ooh, he goes backwards. So the big concern right now is that they need to repair those tire barriers. Yuki's okay. He has been taken to medical. That's obligatory. Basically the how the power of the crash that he's just had. And they're showing a replay of telling Max that Yuki if he's okay. The first thing Max asks if he's okay, and he was okay. So that's really fun. That's very cool of Max to have basically first thing his reaction is, yeah, everyone's asking if he's okay. By the time they tell Oscar he's already out of the car. So doing some audio replay of telling drivers being told that Yuki's had an accident, he's okay. Yeah, and that's the first thing the drivers are all like. They're amazed at Lawson was amazed at the crash, and then the next thing was his next question is he okay? And that's basically like basically most of the drivers are like, is he okay? And that's a great good moment of solidarity among the drivers for one of their own. So as it stands right now, Albin is at top of the board with a 116, 164. Alonso is only 64,000 behind him. Hamilton is 94,000 behind him, and Sainz, his teammate, is 2.4. Clark is 3.6. Uh, Max has not set a time that so Max was on his flying lap when that happened. So Yuki was the other one on a flying lap. So his lap ended up being aborted because of it basically going red flag. So Max, Norris, Oscar, Antonelli, Isaac, Russell, Lawson, Gasly, and Colapino are the only ones who have not set a time. Um, the Alpines weren't even on track as of yet, so they have not even put in a lap on track so far. So they have technically a tire advantage by the fact that they haven't even done a lap. This might take long. Estimated time of Q1 resumption is 16:20. So they're saying about 3 minutes. Right now, it's still Q1. Again, we have stopped because of the red flag scenario. Again, your harbinger red flags. This is not what I expected for a red flag. Fujikura must have been a fault because the tires. No, it's not that the tires aren't hard enough. Yuki went over curbs. This was definitely a driver choice here. Yuki thought that that by using more of the track, aka by going over curbs, he could get a better line. Basically, what's going on here, and by doing so, he went over curves, bounced. The car bounced, and that's when he went and we lost control of the back of the car and it spun on him. So he went backwards into the tire barriers, flipped up into it, and then bounced back down hit the fence and bounced back from the fence. I called you delusional. Yes, I did call you delusional, saying that Williams would get a double podium. Yes, this is not the race though. You're early to call me out for calling you delusional. Unless you wish to remind me to call that I called you delusional. So track is clear. That's the first thing is that the track is now clear. They are now lining up to get back out onto track. So they're in the pit lane lined up. They're just waiting for pit lane exit to go green. Yeah. What we do know is Yuki looks. He got out of the car himself, and was able to walk away. He was taken by medical because just by the sheer fact of how that accident happened. It's mandatory to be checked by medical. To remind those in chat, both Twitch and YouTube, that this is a motorsports channel. Please keep it to F1. IndyCar's okay. NASCAR, if you're a brute, I'm joking. NASCAR is a very different beast, and we have gone green light on pit lane, and Alpine is out. Which one? Colpino is out. Hulkenberg, Borello are next out. So basically, we've got 10 drivers who have not set a time yet. Not well, nine that counting that also obviously counts Tsunoda though. Wait, what are you guys using for saying you're using reverse psychology on me for? Elax is here. Thank you. I haven't seen you in a while. Been good to see you around again. Have I said something to irk the F1 gods? I swore yesterday, apparently. That's what I did to swear. I swore. Apparently, I swore. So that basically. But I've been irking the F1 gods all. I irked them all day yesterday. Um, I don't know what I didn't do. I must have done something, not done something in FP3 because we didn't get a red flag. We did get a yellow flag because of Lawson spinning out. He didn't hit anything, and got back onto track, which disappointed me because I had a streak going. But anyways, um, yes, Sauber is out again. They've got 116s. Hulkenberg is a high 116. Hulkenberg is a 117. Those are times that are not going to stand. Yeah, Tsunoda did crash. He basically bounced into he went over curbs, went backwards into the tire barriers, bounced over the tire barriers, hit the catch fence, bounced back off the catch fence, and landed on the ground. He did literally roll the car over which is crazy. So it's a definitely a he is okay. Will be taken medical and be evaluated. Was it similar to how Zoe flew? Um, Somewhat. Not. Zoe went really far, and I think there was something else involved with. I think there was a collision involved with Joe. Um, but Joe slid like several meters. It was a considerable length. Then went over grass and then flipped into the tire barrier and landed in the tire barrier. Yuki hit curbs and he didn't go as far as Joe, and then went backwards into the tire barrier, rolled up onto the tire barrier and bounced back. Yeah, by the time Joe was tumbling, he had dug into the ground several meters out already, and was already tumbling into the tire barriers and landed in the tire barriers. So that absorbed some of the energy of what was going on. Whereas Yuki basically hit the tire barriers and bounced up and bounced back. He had the energy to bounce back off the tire barrier, so he didn't stay up there. I'm gonna see right now. Saints right now with the top of the board with 115.987. I think Isaac. So we got Sainz, Albon, Alonso, Isaac, Colapino, and Hamilton. Gasly going to the top of the board, 115.937. Still have wait for time for Norris, Verstappen. Verstappen on his fast lap. Though it looks like Max is abandoning his lap. Hamilton is on a flying lap. Leclerc on a flying lap. Antonelli going third, 115.943. Yeah, I'm thinking that the cut line is going to be below a second at least. Russell going to P2, 115.852. Verstappen going to the top of the board. Okay, so Max just had a odd section in sector 2. End of sector 1 into sector 2. He does a 115.175. So he's a half a second faster than Alonso. So expect Max to finish the current lap he's on in pits. Sainz and Albon are pitting right now. I don't expect them to come back out. They're 6th and 8th, respectively. Norris is going fifth, 1:15.942. Got 6 minutes to go in this session. We're waiting for Oscar. He's on his flying lap. He's the last one to set a time, obviously, and he's going to go P2, 1:15.5. So I expect him to pit as long as, yeah, Alonso. So where are we looking at? So Ocon Behrman 1.9, Behrman 1.7, Borla 1.4, Hulkenberg 1.3. Lawson right now is the driver at risk P15 1.2, and then Colapino is 14th 1.08. Yeah, Stroll. So I'm looking at Hamilton, Stroll, Isaac, Colapino, Lawson are all at risk because they're all within about a tenth of each other. Yeah, I mean Hamilton is 1.988. I might even put Albon in that risk category. Albon Leclerc. This is really tight. So we got cars coming in. So Hamilton is pitting. I suspect Hamilton will go back out to make. He is 11 right now, 0.988. But wow, there's so little gap. I mean, it's the 2/10 literally from Hamilton all the way to Lawson. 5 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in this session. We should be seeing cars coming back out onto track. Again, I'm gonna say at least science all the way down through. So that's 8th through 19. I'm expecting them to all come back out to do and try and get a better lap. It's not even that just the Williams are fighting with Ferraris. The Williams are outperforming Ferrari at the moment. Okay. Oscar and Norris are coming straight right back out. I think they just kept Oscar out. Norris. I don't know why. I don't know why McLaren's are staying out. Antonelli's coming out. Antonelli's 7th. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't think Antonelli would come back out, but here he is. Got 3 minutes to go in this session. Our teams are just waiting for toes. That could be one of the things that's going on. They may be trying to do toes. See if they can get that to work. Man, keep saying the car, referring to Yuki. Ooh, people are muscling each other in the pit lane. As much as the drivers don't like it, the stewards haven't ruled that that's not illegal. Yeah, but Mikey said the car, basically Yuki's car, looked like one big jigsaw puzzle. Definitely. How's the weather? It's warm. It's not. It's not blazingly hot like Abu Dhabi or Saudi or even Miami. It's warm. It is warm though. It's not blazingly hot though. No rain. We don't expect any rain during quali. So they're going to note Hulkenberg an unsafe release. We'll see if they where the stewards rule on how that is. I'm not aware of anything in the drivers' meeting about them not doing that. But Low on a flying lap right now. So is Hulkenberg and Norris. Huh, that's interesting. Norris is improving on his times too. So that's at least P6 the minimum. He's losing time He's losing time through through turn 16 to 17, and Norris is going to move up only one position. Now we're under a minute left, so that's going to bake his time in. Here comes Bartolo. He's going to go up to 15th. That is probably not enough to keep him into Q2. Hulkenberg is on a flying lap. This needs to be good because he's not going to be able to get around to do another lap. Hulkenberg does not improve in his time, so he is out. We got Yuki and Hulkenberg out right now. Colapino's 14th on a flying lap. We've got 26 seconds left to go, and there's a lot of drivers. Lawson makes it across the line. 20 seconds. Sainz makes it across the line. Isaac's going to make it across the line with Leclerc. Yellow flag. Oh, Colapino has crashed. Colapino has crashed. Take a look. So this is all moot at this point. Time is checker flag has come out, and that's not looking good. Colapino was okay. So he went in. He went off at turn 3 to 4. Ended at the end of 4. Yeah, this is going to end the session. Bartolo, Lawson, Hulkenberg, Ocon, and Tsunoda are going to be the ones out. Colapino, by virtue of being 15th, is gonna be so he's gonna make it to Q2, but obviously he's not going to take part further on. So Colapino is going to be at 15. Oh man, this has been crazy. And Colapino is getting out of the car. He's getting out on his own accord. Uh, he's getting out slowly. And he's getting out with help with the steward. That does not look good. Why did they fire Jack? Jack may be back. If that does not look good. Franco took a sweet. He didn't get out of the car quickly. Dark Mail, Franco officially correct. No, because this is quali. This is not the race. It could very easily be that Colapino could be a pit lane start, so he could be starting effectively 1920. Oh, Behrman's time was deleted. Showing replays. Wow, he spun multiple times, multiple rotations. Behrman's time has been deleted. I see the last thing was Hulkenberg's time was deleted as well for track limits. So Bartolo is getting into Q2. Yeah, Bartolo is going to get into Q2. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out to get a confirmation. Yeah, Behrman is out, so it's Lawson, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Behrman, and Tsunoda. Obviously, Tsunoda with that. Bartolo is going to get into Q2. Isaac's going to get into Q2. Hamilton and Albon, they're the drivers particularly at risk now, not getting to Q3. F3DS new floor working on this Aston. Aston brought a lot of parts. It wasn't just the floor. It was a big upgrade with their car, and that if you look right now, Stroll and Alonso is 3 and 4 on the grid. This is our intermediate period between Q1 and Q2. This is the Race Statistics channel. This is Crash with you covering you live coverage of the qualifying for the Imola Grand Prix. Oh, that is interesting. Thank you for pointing that out, Vicky. Basically, Alonso and Stroll went out on medium tires. So that could affect their race strategy because they won't have really those tires effectively for the race on tomorrow. Ferrari no longer a race team; they are mobile chicanes. Ouch! That's rough. Yeah, they have to again get the car off track. They also have to get the tire barriers fixed. It did. So start of Q2 will be delayed. That's for obvious reason. Why do you? Yeah, what's going on with the Bearman's lap? You guys have a better idea um what happened there? Just looking at what you guys right now. Which I guess the fastest red flag. Vegas when the first run on Vegas was pretty quick to get a red flag. There was issue with one of the drainage plates came off and took out part of Science's car. Oh, Bierman didn't finish his lap. That's why the accident happened while he was in his lap. Oh, you know what behind the Aston upgrades? No, no. It's just this is when Aston Martin decided to bring their upgrades. Leclerc and Oscar investigated after the session, failing to follow race direction instructions. Maximum time delta. That will be taken care of. That'll be taken care of after the session. So they probably didn't go fast enough. So again, right now, yeah, they see some dark clouds off in the distance. It's not expected to come to the track basically. So they see clouds, but there's no sign that it's coming to the track. Yeah. So Ollie's lap was invalidated because of the red flag. Oh, that's horrible. Thanks, Scott, for showing up. Could use those scones right now. We are in a red flag because Colapino crashed. Yuki crashed earlier in the middle, so with 12 minutes to go in Q1, Yuki crashed, and then Colapino crashed with seconds left on the clock. Colapino was, yeah, he was like 2-3 meters from the finish line when the red flag came. Oh, that's horrible. Okay, Q2 will start local 16:46 local time. So that's about 4 minutes. Q2 is going to start. Yeah, I don't think they're going to reinstate him because the red flag came out before he finished the lap. If they reinstate Behrman's lap, they have to do it in the next like 2 minutes. It is going to be reinstated. That would put Borletto into the drop zone. Oh boy. Let's see. We don't see a time up on for Q2 yet, so we do have a track is clear. So that means they've gotten car off the track, they've gotten the barrier back into place where it should be. Yeah, F3DS is pointing out that multi-viewer. In order to get the data that we are using, you need to be a subscriber to F1 TV. I think you just need the free account because you can get that timing data with the free account. Okay, so we are 15 minutes to go in Q2 set up. Q2 will be delayed. That's obvious. This may be because they're trying to figure out if they reinstate Beerman or not. That's not been ruled as actually happening as of yet. So again, with 12 minutes left to go in Q1, Yuki Tsunoda crashed, and that was a bad crash. It took us a while to get back that in order. With seconds to go in Q1, Colapino crashed. Yeah, I suspect the Q2 is still being delayed because they're figuring out what they should do with Behrman's time. Yeah, Haas obviously is disputing it. Well, hi all, let's go. We're waiting for Q2 to start. It's going to be a little bit. I think there's some stuff going on with the stewards at the moment. Did Yuki crash? Yeah, Yuki crashed in at 12 minutes ago in Q1, and then ultimately Franco Colapino crashed at the with seconds left to go on the clock. Yeah. So Mo is saying that Behrman crossed before the red flag. He checked on his stream. Nathan, we can't start right now because I believe we believe the stewards are basically going over if Behrman crossed the line or not. And this is one of the things that it's a big deal because Albin got closed a few races ago because they someone else basically went over. I think it was Hulkenberg basically had a lap time deleted. That was, but they had ruled they ruled that like so in the middle of Q2, which then did not allow Albin to compete in Q2. Yeah. The one thing about is that okay, lap time of Behrman under review. That's why we're in this hold the moment when we expected that as the case. So that's official now with race control. With Yuki, he got out of the car pretty quickly. Colpino did not get out of the car pretty quickly, and that's there was someone else who was there helping him. Why are the mediums faster than the softs? Mostly because it's about durability. Those new C6 reds are dropping off faster than the C5, and also you got to take into account these are a new compound. The tires, these drivers know what the C5 is supposed to do and how it works. That's typically been the soft compound, like over and over for several races already. So they know that tire better than they do this new compound. The one thing about the C6 is that it basically gives Pirelli the option to push high, these C4, C5 compounds so that um, the tires are going to degrade more. They're not going to be as hard, and therefore they'll be able to force like a two-stop strategy. Is the goal. Now we haven't seen those hards run as strong as those have been. We've seen those hards being the hards this weekend. We typically have seen as the mediums. Random people, what happened right now? So two crashes. First one, Yuki was 12 minutes in the middle of the session, and then we had Colapino at the very end of the session. We are right now in a review of Behrman's lap because he finished this lap just as that red flag came out. And it's a question of was he before the line? Was he after the line? Did he complete the lap? Did he not complete the lap? And the FIA and the stewards need to get that right this time because they've already been under pressure already because they didn't get it right a few races ago with Albin. Again, believe Hulkenberg had a lap time that was invalidated, and that ultimately caused Hulkenberg made a lap time that kicked out Albin, but that lap time was then ultimately invalidated, and so they were in the middle of like Q2, Q3 when they made that ruling, and so Albin was legitimately not allowed to compete to take part in Q2 because of that mistake. So this is why we're in a review right now. That's why they were taking the time now to get this right, and I would rather them to do this now than to be like, oh, we screwed up in middle of Q3. It's not Behrman under investigation. Is that they're reviewing his last lap. Behrman didn't do anything wrong. The question is whether or not Behrman finished his lap before the red flag came out. So that's what the investigation is. Not that he's done something wrong. It's basically how does the timeline line up in terms of when the red flag came out, when he finished this lap. They need to, that's what they're establishing is that timeline right now. Yeah, and in the United States, we get ESPN is our primary broadcaster, and we get the Sky Sports broadcast. Ouch, you guys being? Are you guys talking about the Sky Sports? Ted and Crofty. Because if you subscribe to F1 TV, you get a different broadcast team, and there are I like them a lot better than the Sky Sports crew. Yeah, Alex is saying the same thing as I've been saying, where yeah, they let Hulkenberg through when they should not have had. Which is an option to change commentators. I hate hearing this guys. Again, F1 TV, get a different group. If you're talking about this channel, you're SOL. Sorry. Yeah, I know Q1's taken us about an hour already. Cathro, they can't swap Doohan and Colapino. First of all, he's out. Carson's destroyed, and two, Doohan has not taken part in any practice sessions. Now, are they going to swap him for next week? That's a different. What is the controversial incident to happen in F1? You got to be more clear about what you're talking about. Take a look at what's going over in. F1 TV thinks that Bierman has made it through. We don't know yet. So QQ, we're getting a message that QQ was be 16:58, so that's about 3 minutes. So last week, people asked about what happened last week. Basically, we had an issue with, well, it's 2 weeks ago. Basically, we were trying a new format for mobile streams, and there was an issue with that streaming. That by default, it took down our normal stream. Um, that's why when we were looking at like what's going on, we still have a video on demand for our normal stream. As a result, the boss basically decided to start a Patreon, so he's not totally reliant on YouTube. To be quite honest, I don't think they're letting him in. Barlow's actually has exited the garage. Well, it's gonna get interesting. Yeah, Twitch. We're still when we went down 2 weeks ago. We were streaming on Twitch as well, and that didn't was not affected. So Gabriel Barlow has exited the garage and is now parked at the end of the pit lane. Barlow could get a penalty if Behrman lap was dated. Yeah, but as it stands right now, the thing is they put out the signal that the session will start. So they are in within realm to release the car to put it out. We have not yet started Q2 yet. We're still waiting for a ruling on Behrman's lap. We have just started, and Bortoleto is going across the line. Bortoleto is going out. So Behrman is out. Ooh. So yeah, we did not get a message, and therefore Bortoleto went out when it went green. Max is going to be the next one to come out of the pits. So we are in. Behrman is out in Q1. If the stream is lagging, try reloading the stream itself. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how. No, Bortoleto Behrman was not reinstated. Yeah, but they went no decision on Behrman, but they just went green flag with Bortoleto being in Q2. Yeah, the softs are the red softs are the C6, medium are the C5s, and then the hards are C4 this weekend. I mean, as it is, if they decide now, that's going to be a big deal because they've let Bortoleto go out on track. When he should not have gone on track. And this would be the second time this has happened this season. So ultimately, what we are assuming right now is because they went green flag and no other message was made, Butler in, Behrman's out. And Haas is already taking care of that. So most of them, the only ones who are not, obviously Colapino is not going to come out. So Oscar and Sainz are the only two who are in the pits right now. We've got Albin and Gasly on, and here comes Oscar. So it leaves Sainz as the last car to not leave the pit as of yet. And Barolo sets a time 116.683. Max he's coming around the end of sector 2 right now. Here comes Sainz. He's coming out. So there we go. So everyone who will be out in this session, the 14 cars, are now on track. Max coming in the line. Obviously, there's a 115.4. Russell coming around. Here comes Stroll. Stroll's finishing his lap. Goes to P2, 116.15. Norris starting his lap. Here comes Alonso finishing his lap. 115.598. Albon starting a new lap. Leclerc is finishing a lap. 115.604. Hamilton is finishing a flying lap, and so is Gasly's coming out. So Hamilton's going to come third. So early on, we got Verstappen, Leclerc, Hamilton, Alonso, Stroll, Borrello. Isaac finishing a lap. He comes in at P4, 115.8. 4 tenths behind Max, behind the Ferraris, but ahead of Aston Martin. Oscar is starting a flying lap now. Here comes Antonelli. He's finishing his flying lap. So will be Russell next. Sainz will be the next one. He will be finishing an out lap. Antonelli comes in sixth. Here comes Russell finishing a flying lap. He's going to go P2. Sainz is coming around a line. He's finishing an out lap, so that will leave him. Norris is next. He's got a fastest second sector. Russell is the fastest first sector. Norris is going top of the board, 115.261. That's a 1.39 gap to Max. Albon is becoming a 10th. That's 1.1 off. It's not good. So Borrello's is 11th. Oscar's on a flying lap. Gasly on Sainz on a. So Gasly's going 10th, 1.1, 1/1000 faster than Albon. Here comes the Ferraris. And the Ferraris are pitting. Here comes Oscar on his flying lap. Fastest second sector. Good third sector. He's going to go P1 on top of the board, 115.241. That is 0.20. So it's 20 thousandths of difference between Oscar and Norris's lap. 159 thousandths difference between Max and Oscar. Russell is 310. Leclerc is 363, and Hamilton is 524, so half a second at P6. Sainz on his flying lap. He's going to be the last one who hasn't set a time yet. He's going to come in P9. He's 867 thousandths. Antonelli pitting. I'm expecting Russell to pit. So we got 8 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in this Q2 session. I'm expecting most of these cars are going to pit. It's going to take a moment and can then come out. Yeah, Gasly only 10th. Isaac is 7th right now. That's an interesting place to be. Max is 3rd. Russell's 4th. Antonelli is 10th. Alonso 8th and Stroll's 11th. So right now, Antonelli's the driver at risk and he's at 0.881 is the gap. It's a 116.122 lap. We were within a 10th going back to P8. That's Sainz and Alonso. So Alonso did a 115.980. Isaac does a 115.8, and I think that, and let me see, and then Hamilton is a 115.765. I could easily say that we're back to Hamilton at least are in danger with their lap times. So Sainz the last one on track right now. He's expected to pit while there's 7 minutes left to go. They will put on new tires and make any adjustments to his car. Why do people give Sainz so much hype? Because he's actually a good driver. I mean, he is a Grand Prix winning driver. Now, granted, he's moved over from Ferrari to Williams, and so they're giving him benefit of the doubt because he's in a team that's hasn't been as performing. Now, having said that, you see, he's actually outperforming his teammates. Ferrari's outperforming right now. But there's been moments where the Williams has been outperforming Ferrari. There's been moments where Williams been outperforming Red Bull. They've been outperforming situations where they've been outperforming Aston Martin. Now, granted, that has flipped here because Aston Martin has brought upgrades, a lot of upgrades. Right now, we've got 6 minutes to go. Again, no one on track right now, and this is to be expected. We will probably see someone come out on track in a moment. So now under 6 minutes officially now. Looking at what you guys are saying. Hi, Twitch chat. Hi, see you those in YouTube chat. Right now, that's not true, Anon. Yuki went over curbs and lost control of the car, and that caused his incident. We don't have tire ages right now, Vicky, on our setup. And it's moot at this point because no one's out on on any tires at all. Which should be the out lap time and not get any penalties. I don't know the exact what those that time should be. We know that Leclerc that they're going to get pulled into the steward's office and be like rah rah rah. We haven't seen any. They'll get a reprimand most likely. I don't think they'll do anything. They haven't done anything about the Delta times this season so far. So Bortwell coming out of the pits there now. Yep, now one goes and they all go. So with 4 minutes ago, we've got massive cars on pit lane waiting to get out now. Yeah, that. So the issue with Behrman's scenario is that F1 TV went through their what they have access to, and we're like, yeah, we think that he got over the line. So that's gonna be a problem. Gonna be a problem. F1 TV is predicting that a 1:15.4 is going to be the knockout time. So that puts it, wow, that puts it up to Verstappen. That doesn't seem right. Hamilton and Leclerc seems more reasonable in that regards. I think they're pushing that not that up. Why is the second run in each quali faster than first? I mean, part of it is there is some track evolution. Also, they are trying to uh, they're able to take into account how they performed in their first run, and race engineers are able to tell them where they can pick up time. Oh, here we go. Everyone's out on soft tires except for Stroll. Stroll is out on a medium tire. That's interesting. And Alonso's on a medium tire. And they're fresh medium tires too. That's going to get interesting. That might be the edge that Stroll and Alonso need to get into Q3. That would be huge. Um, yeah, but both McLarens are safe, but they're still going out because I don't know. I think it's more pride, I guess I would say at this point. So Barella just did a new lap time, 1:16.260. That puts him to 12th. I think he's out. Isaac is moving up to fourth. Yeah, with 120 left, it's gonna take like more like a minute and 30 minute four. So the Barlow is done. Antonelli's moving up to eighth. So these are times that are baked in now. So Isaac, Antonelli, Borrell are baked in. Hamilton, I think he might be done. Leclerc is probably done. So six and seven with the Hamilton did not improve times. Here comes Stroll. Stroll's on an out lap. So he's on his flying lap. Alonso's on a flying lap. Russell's baked in now. That's 115.3534. So 93 thousandths different. Max is coming around. This is going to be his lap. He does improves in his time, not his position though. So Max is fourth. Now this is Q2, so this is not. So Oscar's on a flying lap. Norris on a comes Sainz. Sainz going top of the board. That pushes Stroll down below, but he's still on flying laps. So Antonelli is really a driver at risk. Albon up to seventh. Antonelli's now really the driver at risk. If both Stroll and Alonso, they could push Antonelli. They could also push Hamilton out. Gasly. Gasly's on a flying lap. He's coming in line, so he's the next one. So Gasly goes to fifth. He's going to push it out. Antonelli's out. Oh, could be crazy. Here comes Stroll. He's going to jump to six. That puts Hamilton out. Oh wow. Here comes Alonso. Where is he going to qualify? Alonso goes to six. That pushes Leclerc out. Oh, Aston Martin has eliminated both Ferraris. My God. Oh, that's crazy. Um, Gasly took out Antonelli. Stroll took out Hamilton, and Alonso took out Leclerc. Wow, a double elimination in Q2 for Ferrari. They're going to be 11th, 12th on grid. So we Leclerc is 11th, Hamilton is 12th, Antonelli is 13th, Bortella is 14th, and Colapino, by virtue of where he qualified at the end of Q1, is going to start 15th. Now, he's probably a pit lane start given the amount of work they've got to do on his car. Same with Tsunoda, most likely. But yeah, wow, both Ferraris are out. I don't have to even taunt the Toyosis. Oh my God, you guys go. So later today, go to YouTube, look for the shorts because there'll be the short of Matt Gallagher in horrific state that his Charles Leclerc has been eliminated in Q2 by Alonso, no less. Yeah, Ferrari got qualified by the Aston Martins, and they qualified sixth and seventh. And they did it on medium tires. Yeah, the cut line. Albon is the driver who survived. His P10 it was 115.5212. The difference was 3/10, 3.23 thousandths between Sainz and Albon. It was 107 thousandths was the difference between, so just more than a tenth between Leclerc and Albon. Wow. Wow, Antonelli out. Yeah, Antonelli got kicked out by, I believe, Russell. No, it was Gasly who kicked him out. So, how many C5s will we see this qualifying session? Do you think? Uh Now that Aston Martin has pulled them out of the bag to get them into Q3, we will see them in Q. We will see them in Q3. I have a feeling I have a feeling probably most of the teams are going to run a the C5, the medium tire. Rihanna is only 2/10 out, two and a half tenths out. Yellow flag. I don't know why we're getting yellow flag. That's probably something on track. To ignore the yellow flag right now. We're in between Q1 and Q. I mean, sorry, Q2 and Q3. Again, we are in the intermediate period between Q2 and Q3. Yellow flag has been thrown on the track for some apparent reason. Not sure why. No one is on track. We're not in the middle. We're not. We haven't started Q3 yet. As it stands right now, again, you're listening to the Race Statistics YouTube channel. We are also streaming on Twitch. If you're on another platform, thank you guys for watching along with us. So, story so far in Q1, Yuki crashed with 12 minutes ago. Then Colpino crashed at the end of Q1. He qualified 15th. Bortoletto was the driver basically driver at risk, but Behrman that time was taken away from him. As far as we know, it was not reinstated. So Bortoletto made it into Q2. Lawson was eliminated. Hulkenberg, Ocon, Behrman, and then obviously Yuki Tsunoda. In Q2, obviously Colapino Franco did not make it out on track because his car was wrecked. Bortoletto was 14th. Endinelli was 13th. Was kicked out by Gasly. Hamilton, 12th, was kicked out by Stroll. And then your Leclerc kicked out by Alonso. So it's Leclerc 11th, Hamilton 12th, Antonelli 13th, Barlow 14th, Colapino 15th. Those are the ones who are kicked out in Q2. So now we are setting up for Q3. Sainz, Oscar, Norris, Russell, Verstappen, Alonso, Stroll, Gasly, Isaac Kajad, and Albon are the 10 drivers in this shootout. Yeah. Of note, Aston Martin went out on medium tires. That's the C5. We've got to kind of know that the C5s are just a little bit more durable, have just a little bit more hardness. They're able to perform better than C6. That's the crazy thing is that the mediums are performing just slightly better. There's tenths of a difference between the mediums and the softs that are giving an edge with the mediums. And so Aston Martin went out with mediums and got their cars into Q3. And someone change setups between quality sections. I mean, the most we're talking about is like wing changes, wing gaps, wing configuration that they can do quickly. Those are the same things they can do during the race itself. Race to define team during the season. Actually, last year that actually was the case with Alpine. One race did define their season. I got the 2-3 in Brazil last year, and that basically defined their season in terms of points. They had a horrible season, and that was the only race that they got everything right. And that's also the race where Max Verstappen so basically secured the championship. It wasn't mathematically out of the question, but it put it out of reasonability that Max was not going to get caught by Lando. Stroll. So the Aston Martins are first going to come out. Isaac is coming out. Here comes the McLarens. Here comes Max. Russell. So we have started Q3 now. So here we are, all for the marbles at this point. Yeah, Imola is hard to overtake is the thing they've been repeating on F1 TV a lot. So the fact that Ferrari's 11th and 12th is it's a huge disadvantage. Lando was lucky that Behrman lap was deleted. I can see Behrman beat Antonelli quality with this pace. This weekend, right now, though, again, this is just home. I think it's home race curse basically for him. Alonso looks like no, he's on softs. The Aston Martins went out on softs. He's like, it's not bum, it's dumb. DUM, dumb, dumb, dumb. Max Verstappen. What you guys see? Aston had an extra set of mediums after practice. Okay, that would explain why they had them available to them. So right now we're waiting. We're all on out laps except for Alonso and Stroll. Site, yeah. So timing board's going to be all over the place for the next minute or so while we wait for actual times getting on the board. Norris starting his lap. Isaac started his lap. Oscar is going to be starting a lap. Sainz, Russell, Verstappen, Gasly, and Albon have not crossed the line yet. Max will be the next one to cross the line. Russell will be next. Though Stroll is getting a toe off of Russell. He's going to pass him on turn 17. It looked like Stroll may have gotten a toe off of Russell there for a moment. He's going to go top of the board. He's the first one to take 115.767. Here comes Alonso. That's slow. Alonso is a 115.53. That's 86 thousandths difference. Isaac is the next one to be crossing the line. Gasly is behind him, but the Gasly's on outlap. So Isaac going to the top of the board, 115.746, 21,000 faster than Stroll. Norris doing 7/10 faster than, almost 8/10 faster than Isaac. So we got a 114.962 on the board. Oscar going faster than his teammate, 142.821. That's a 141 faster than Norris, so a tenth and a half faster than his teammate. So there is time to be had on this track. Max right now on a flying lap. He's going top of the board. He's got half a tenth faster than Verstappen. Russell goes fourth of the board. He's a 115.039. That's a 2.6, so a quarter second behind Max. So right now we've got Gasly on his flying lap. So Sainz, Gasly, Albon are the last three to set a time. And that's going to be big because we've had red flags. Gasly goes P8. Here comes Albon. He's going to have to pass Alonso. Alonso pits. Albon goes eighth. Here comes Sainz. He had to pass Norris and Isaac. He goes eighth. So we go Sainz, Albon, Gasly in the last three slots. Aston Martin is sixth and seventh. Isaac is fifth. Russell's fourth. Verstappen first. Oscar second. Norris third. Right now, we've got 6 minutes to go in this session. So 6 minutes to go in this stream right now. Just looking at what you guys are saying on chat in a moment. We'll get over. You guys are laughing while Stroll was top of the board. Again, so cars, we're expecting all of these cars to basically, Gasly, Albon, Sainz are the last three on track, expecting them to pit, and then with another minute and a half to 2 minutes, we will see the cars come back out on track. And again, it'll basically be a game of chicken, who goes out first. So again, right now we're waiting for who goes out. Yeah, right now it's a game of chicken. Again, they're all in the garage, got tire blankets on. Any update on medical for Tsunoda? Not that I know of right now, David. I haven't heard anything regarding his situation. Isaac to Red Bull, not yet. Maybe next season or season after that. He's too early to be promoted. Literally, the reason Yuki is in the car is because they need him. They need his experience to help develop the car. That's why Lawson got pulled, because as good as he could be, he wouldn't be able to help develop the car, which is why, why did you put him in the car in the first place? Yeah, Isaac is a good place with the racing bulls. Like, give it another year. Like, look, if Isaac is performing the way he is through next year, he will get promoted. But we really need to give patience. And here come the cars coming out. Oscar's coming out. So it looks like Oscar's gonna be the first one out. Max looks like he's the next one in the procession. Stroll's behind Oscar. So they are all coming out of the pits now. And by all, I mean everyone. So we got 2 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in this session. So basically, got enough time to spread out, come out around the track, um, and do their laps. Oscar's going to be the first one to come out onto track. He's actually the first one on track. He's in the middle of, in the first sector right now. Roll is second on track, followed by Albon, Isaac, Norris, Verstappen. So that is going to be our order on track. Here comes Alonso and Russell. Here comes Sainz, and so the last four are basically trying to They did not spread out, and they're in danger of not getting around. Sainz is the last driver on track. He's at danger of not getting around. So so Verstappen all the way back to Sainz. They're now they have a minute and 13 seconds left. So Oscar and Stroll have passed the line. Albon has passed the line. We've got 1 minute to go. Isaac has not passed the line, but Max is in the middle of sector 2. Isaac gets past the line. Norris is coming to turn 19. He's going to get past the line. We've got 40 seconds left. Oscar is going to go past Russell and I think Sainz. 30 seconds to go. Max is coming 18. Alonso at 18. Max at 19. Max over the line. 22 seconds. Alonso getting over the line. 18 seconds. Oscar's going to finish this lap. He had to pass Gasly. Oscar's going top of the board. Provisional pole. Gasly's getting across the line. 8 seconds left. 4 seconds left. Stroll makes it across the line. 1, 0, checkered flag. I think Russell got across the line. Russell's getting past Stroll. I think Stroll is not. He's gone slow. I think he's not. I think that was his lap actually. So Stroll got across the line. Stroll is at Albon is at P5. Stroll P6. Here comes Norris. Norris abandoned his lap. He must have gone off. So he's at 3. Max is at. No. This is crazy. Here comes Max. Max is coming at P2. Here comes Alonso. Alonso, okay. He's going to jump up to P5. Here comes Gasly. Gasly's improved. He's going to jump only one place, and then we're going to have Sainz and Russell. Sainz gets to P6. Russell had traffic in P1 in sector 1. He's only going to move up one place, and I think that is it. Oscar is going to take pole. Max is going to be on the front row, P2. Second row, Russell and Norris, and then we got Alonso, Sainz, Albon and Stroll, and then Isaac and Gasly, and that is your qualification for Imola, guys. Yeah, this was crazy. The difference between Oscar and Max was 0.34 thousandths. Sorry, 0.034 thousand, 34 thousandths. 137,000 for Russell, 292,000 for Norris, 761 thousandths for Alonso, 1,000 difference between him and Sainz. Albon with 8.03 gap, a 911 for Stroll, and then over a second for Isaac and Gasly. Again, the best time was again Oscar with a 1:14.670, and that is our qualification session, everyone. For everyone who was here for this qualification session, wow, this took us a while. Definitely Q1 took us over an hour with those red flags. Where the heck did Aston get this speed from? They brought upgrades, Yellow. That's one of the big storylines coming in is that Aston Martin brought upgrades and they got into Q3 and they got what they needed to be on the medium tires. Interesting to see that Russell played with the medium tire. Only got P3 though. So again, for everyone here at the Race Statistics family of channels, I want to thank everyone who was watching, who came, showed up either on Twitch or on YouTube or wherever you may be watching. Thank you for being with us. This is going to bring our coverage for the qualifying session. Russell Q3 incident, maximum delta time. failing to follow race directions, instructions, maximum delta time. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. So there's, I know Leclerc and Sainz also have a Q1 maximum delta time summons as well. So we will, as always, basically we'll cover those decision documents before the race tomorrow, so give you an idea what things have happened and what to expect with like the grid and whatnot. This has been Grash. This is following Leclerc. So Leclerc and Oscar in Q1, failing to follow race direction instructions, back to the time, no they're for action. Getting some messages now. Okay, this has been Grash. I'm gonna bring this. I'm gonna bring this session to the end right now. We will see you tomorrow for the race itself. Take care. If you guys are a motorsports fan, today's the first day of qualifying for the Indianapolis Grand Prix. There were multiple crashes yesterday, so that's a big deal. That's a big. We'll see how things go in terms of cars. There will be there's definitely driver. One of them is Kyle Larson. He is a NASCAR driver, and him driving in the Indianapolis 500 is a big deal because he has responsibilities for NASCAR as well, and NASCAR cracked down after last year. So it's a big deal with what might happen with him. So if you guys are interested, for those who are into motorsports, stuff else is happening elsewhere today as well. Again, this has been Grash. This has been the Race Distance channel. We will see you tomorrow for the race. Take care, everyone, and have a good afternoon. We'll see you for the race.